Before we read out what Lloyd Chirnside told his staff recently on a Zoom meeting, let's remind everyone who we're talking about. Lloyd Chirnside is a UBT director, a member of the Plymouth Brethren Christian Church Global Advisory Panel, and one of Bruce Hale's top business allies, meaning he's part of the small inner circle that provides counsel on both church and business matters. His company was fined $150,000 over a workplace death, and this is the same Lloyd whose businesses were raided by the Australian Tax Office during investigations into the Brethren's financial empire. Lloyd held a meeting with his staff recently to claim that media scrutiny of the PBCC is actually part of a broader attack on Christianity. He even tried to invoke the tragic shooting of Charlie Kirk, suggesting it was somehow connected to a criticism of the church. But let's be clear, the PBCC cannot use Charlie Kirk as a shield. Charlie Kirk was known for openly debating and answering his critics. The Plymouth Brethren Christian Church, on the other hand, refuses to answer questions from ex-members or so-called opposers. They silence, shun, and threaten. They don't engage in public debate. So with that in mind, here's what Lloyd Chirnside told his staff recently in a work Zoom meeting. So some of you may be aware that there's been some negative press, some negative media coverage about our church community being circulated over the last few days. So I thought it'd be good just to reconfirm a few points. I guess I'm particularly thinking of new staff, and I'm also thinking of the fact that many of you have family and friends who probably know you've worked for members of the church community and may come and ask you questions. So I thought it'd be good just to share a few facts with you. So the first one I wanted to say is that, as for many other Christian denominations, the Plymouth Brethren Christian Church, which is a church that we belong to, is subjected to attacks from time to time. This is not new to the church, and we've had attacks driven by media dating back to 1964. But there's been a public attack on the church. As for the devastating shooting of Charlie Kirk last week, this is actually another form of attack against Christianity. Just calling it out for what it is. Not by chance that they've been chosen to attack us this week, which is just a week after that assassination. So there was a case that came up on Monday night. I don't know whether you saw it. You might not even know what I'm talking about. I don't actually mind if you don't know what I'm talking about, but if you do, I'm actually very acquainted with this case. And it's driven by a bitter individual that left the church about 50 years ago on his own choice. And he's driving a claim that is completely fabricated and false. And it's not just me saying that. That has been attested to by numerous witnesses. Those witnesses actually all made representation to the media channel that provided the coverage for the story, but they completely ignored it. So it's a completely biased case. That's completely false. This individual is just trying to get money from the church, basically, and the support of left-wing media to further his case. The channel that publishes articles I just mentioned are aware of the witnesses, and it's not by chance. It's the very same program that attacked Donald Trump today. Ridiculous, really, to think of it, but he handled it in his stride, but it's clearly a left-wing program. It's against Christians and against business, and I'd say against Australia, because actually Donald Trump said to the person who spoke to him, you know, this is not a good look for Australia. The Prime Minister wants to speak to me, so you know, back off a bit, sunshine. So that was the first thing I wanted to point out. The second was that while we're a part of the Plymouth Brethren Christian Church, the church has no ownership of any business, this business included. Now you might wonder why I'm telling you this. It's because, again, false news, fake press. It's made out that the church owns businesses, or all the profit that we make goes to the church, so we don't pay tax. Now I can call to Sean to witness this without any notice, but we do pay tax. Pay tax, you make a profit anyway. We pay a lot of tax. That's not good. Well, don't take it the wrong way there, but we do pay tax. The business is completely separate from the church. So if you ever hear that a report that the church owns businesses or doesn't pay taxes, please refute it. Now, I just want to reassure you of the stability of the business and your ongoing employment. These things come up in waves from time to time. They do come in waves. They come. They're there for a minute and they go again. We've spoken to the staff before about this, so many have been on this before, but we endure it. We keep going. The business is run on commercial principles. It's run according to ASIC and all the other regulators that exist, and that's how we operate. So for that point of view, it has nothing to do with the church. But these sort of shows and media coverage does provoke conversation, potentially amongst our staff, and as I said earlier, amongst family and friends. People who don't know us ask these questions and they believe what they hear. So what we'd like to ask you is, I wanted to make sure you knew the facts and to be honest. I'd like to ask if you could defend us as much as you feel you're able to. We appreciate loyalty, and if you've got any questions at any time, we're absolutely an open book. We're glad to have a conversation at any time. But essentially, as far as you're concerned, nothing changes. But I thought it'd be good just to use this opportunity to just basically go over the facts that surround the situation. So thanks for your time. Sorry to go a minute over time, but appreciate all your help. All the best. Lloyd Chirnside owns Melbourne-based Criterion Industries and Entro Global. He is considered by some to be like a fifth son to Bruce Hales. He is involved in many Plymouth Brethren Christian Church charities and businesses.